Hi, happy Valentine's Day, the 14th of February. Okay, so yeah, I haven't done one of these chit chat things for a while. So just so you know that I can speak and I'm not just posting like writings or got some alien somewhere robot posting for me. I am alive. I am well. So yeah, again, happy Valentine's Day. To cover the most important stuff first, there's an online workshop, handstand workshop on the 27th of February, 9 a.m. UK time. You can join that handstand training and yeah, just pop me a message or go through the link on Insta. And there's still the daily online yoga classes. Every day is a different theme. Yoga Monday, Tuesday, yoga arm balances and handstands, 5 Tibetans Wednesday, back bend theme Thursday, twists Friday, handstand training Saturday, and Sunday, yoga mobility and breath, where we often, sometimes it's more yin focused, and then there's the 2 yin classes with dolphin. So yeah, so that's the classes and workshops. And then what's the theme of the thing for Valentine's Day? It's actually about platitudes. So we see them a lot on Instagram. They can pop up in other ways as well. So I wrote stuff like which has just gone through my mind over the past, I don't know, whenever. But examples of platitudes would be like, don't go for perfection, have no expectations, just breathe, don't take things personally, think positive, etc., etc. And obviously, there are times, I mean, these sound really cool, and there's times when they could be useful. For example, if someone is in lockdown and a bit depressed and finding it hard to think of anything that there's positive around, maybe trying to find the odd thing which feels good in the experience, maybe like the breath or just a movement of a hand or something, or reading a good book can be a super useful thing. So in that context, thinking positive can be useful. If someone is has positive thoughts and they're generally at that time quite happy, maybe if a feeling pops up, an example would be, I don't know, like jealousy in a context. They see a guy they like, suddenly the guy's talking to another guy, they feel a sense of jealousy. It may not be the best thing always just to push it to one side and go, oh, I just want to be positive again. It may be just like actually experience that feeling, and then move on. But just yeah, feel the feeling. What else? Yeah. So going back to perfection. So there may be times when it's great to have sense of perfectionist in the detail orientated work. It may create great artwork, performances. I think there was research done on, well, there was, on sports people who obviously have, a lot of them, a sense of perfectionism in what they do. If they expected, let's say, less in their standard, or let's say that they wouldn't run so fast, which could be like, okay, then they won't be so upset. They actually did worse than people that gave themselves higher goals. So at times, maybe to have a sense of perfectionism is useful. Obviously, if things don't work out the way that you want, let's say you don't run that, you trip over, to have a huge tantrum and find it hard to get over that is obviously like a sense, and part of the thing which may not be useful. So that kind of experience or way of being is not useful, but to have some kind of perfectionism may at times be quite a useful thing. Or like, yeah, anyway, so I'll start say okay. Expectations, yes, at times to have expectations may be useful. If I marry and have a child, if they go to school, there may be an expectation that we pick up the child every day at a certain time. If we don't have that expectation, that may not be great for the child waiting. Or let's say that you meet someone every day at 1 o'clock for lunch, you have an expectation they'll be there. So at sometimes expectations are useful. If they don't keep showing up, then it would be great to express some emotion. Otherwise, yeah, you'll just be a walkover and your part of your life will be just waiting for someone. So yeah, there are times when expectations may not be so useful, and expectations may be useful at other times. So yeah, context, relationship to the situation is super important. About the fact that things are not personal, that's another platitude. Obviously, at times it may be useful to take things personally. So for example, what's an example of that? Anyone want to suggest an example? Well, let's say someone keeps, I don't know, that they keep saying mean things to other people. They could just keep turning around saying nothing's personal, but actually if they just apologize to the people, it may be actually a better situation. Obviously, in other contexts, it's maybe useful to have the sense that there's something, a broadness of connection of things which stop things being so personally felt. But hey, at times to feel things personally is pretty useful. Let's say Jack likes Lisa. Lisa starts going out with Abel. If Jack takes it personally that Lisa's going out with Abel, it could be a useful thing, so it could make Jack move on to someone who is actually available. So there could be a usefulness in this taking things personally thing as well. Yeah, and so yeah, so that's pretty much, yeah, well, the whole thing about the platitudes is to, oh yeah, another platitude that can come up as well is that egos are bad, etc., etc. Actually, to have a sense of a self, if you're doing any exploratory work into consciousness, unconsciousness, is actually a pretty useful thing, because it gives you a grounding thing to come back to if you start to explore maybe areas which are a bit unfamiliar to you. A lot of psychologists say it's actually really useful for people to have some kind of healthy ego. Yes, to have the sense that your ego is fluid is great, but and that everyone's ego or sense of self can change, but to have some sense of grounding can be quite an important thing at times as well. So yeah, so that's covering platitudes, because it's Valentine's Day and there's a lot of them that can crop up and be around. Wishing everyone a happy Valentine's Day. I hope you guys have had, whatever you're doing, in some way there's some moments of joy in it, regardless of what area or arena. For me, past 36 hours, I've seen a lot of friends. It's been fun. But an area which keeps coming up for me, which I actually find personal so much more interesting than platitudes, is that people keep asking me, like, that I should have a child. When am I going to have a child, etc., etc. And yes, I will. I hope have a child at some point. But yes, so these kind of areas, let's say if you don't have a child yet and you want a child, sometimes it's easy to think, okay, let's just go with the flow and see what happens. But sometimes it's good to put it in your consciousness, actually to explore the area and go, okay, I haven't done that yet. Actually, that would be quite a thing to put attention on. And then a whole arena of discussion in the past 36 hours also with people was, when you go out with people, when should you start discussing if you want children? And one friend of mine who's had 2 kids in 2 years said that she, on the first date, was always like to everyone, I want a child. If you don't, it's not going to work. So she was obviously very clear. Another friend said, but she was much younger, said maybe people should wait a few months, so you don't scare people off. But yeah, I can understand people at different contexts, different lives, in their lives, have to be clear about things at different moments. So the reason about talking about children is interesting on Valentine's Day is because with children, we usually have unconditional love to our own children, with animals as well. So hopefully we can have some kind of that sense of love for everyone, or in some way, maybe, which is possibly what Valentine's Day could be, a cool theme around Valentine's Day. Anyway, so chat soon. The classes and workshops that I chatted about are still all going on. If you joined late, they're on the Insta timetable. Okay, see you soon. Bye. How do I turn this off? Turn it off.